centered? Where's Alex? We look centered, right? All right.
It's huge. It's historic. It's historic. And the outlook, I don't know, I'm sure.
You guys have. All right, I'm going to scoot everybody down just a smidge. So we're not so down. You guys can turn right on. Okay, all good. Are you okay?
Good afternoon. I want to thank Chief Pat Murray, Issa Abbasi, members of my office, Mike Zuckerman, members of the Office of Public Safety, Office of Policing Strategy and Innovation, who are here. Importantly, members of the Paterson community and all of the men and women of the Paterson Police Department. Earlier this morning, the New Jersey Supreme Court unanimously said what we've been saying for years now, which is that my office's decision to supersede the Paterson Police Department was lawful and consistent with the laws of the state of New Jersey. It was also necessary. It was necessary to restore trust and confidence in this department, in the 400 women and men who work here. It was necessary to improve the lives of the 160,000 people of this city and ensure that they can have a department that they can be proud of and that serves them. A little over about 2.5 years ago, on March 27, 2023, when I stood in this very spot, I talked about a crisis of confidence in law enforcement in our state's third largest city. I couldn't be prouder of the progress that we have made collectively in this department and with the community over the past 2.5 years. Gun violence is down 65% since the year before our office superseded the department. Every form of violent crime is down. Trust between the community and law enforcement is up. Some of the folks standing behind me were the very same people on the other side of this podium protesting actions of this department when I stood here 2.5 years ago. Now, that doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of the hard work of the two men standing next to me and the women and men of this department. It happens by bringing community in to the work of law enforcement in this city. It happens by listening, by being humble, and by responding to the concerns of the residents of Paterson. All of that has happened. 55-point strategic plan that's over 90% completed. I suspect it will be completed this fall. Actions like moving internal affairs down the street to its own building, something we heard directly from the community. Restoring morale for the people who do the hard work, the often thankless work, and the dangerous work of keeping this city and, frankly, all of our cities and communities safe. And ultimately, restoring faith in the core service that we provide, which is public safety. We have made extraordinary progress in this city since March 27th, 2023. I could not be prouder of the work that's been done here. And last night, I had the privilege of joining Officer in Charge Pat Murray, Lieutenant Sharon Easton, and many members of this department at a community fun day in the 5th Ward of Paterson. Hundreds of kids and their families interacting with our newly branded blue shirts, seeing law enforcement in a different light, having a good time on a summer evening. The same type of time I would hope my kids have on a summer evening. It was safe, it was fun, it was festive, people were celebrating. That's what progress looks like. Now, today isn't about wins and losses. Yes, it ends a multi-year distraction that we have dealt with, but importantly, it means most importantly that the work that's been done by the women and men of this department, the work that has been done, including leadership of our, from the community of Paterson, can continue. This progress will continue. And I look forward to seeing that progress continue and pledge that I will support it any way we can. And this man has my complete and entire support, as does his leadership team, who I just had the privilege of meeting with, and the entire police force here in Paterson. I'm so grateful to each and every one of them for their sacrifice, and I want to thank again the community partners, many of whom are represented here today and some who are not, who did the hard work of trusting that change can happen. Because when we work together, when we listen to each other, when we understand, we may come at things from a different perspective, change can happen, and change has happened. And there's undoubtedly been progress made in this city. More to come, but undoubtedly progress has been made over the past 2.5 years. With that, I'm happy to take any questions you have. Yes? First of all, courts routinely do not reach larger questions when they don't have to. The question in this case was not about whether the Camden takeover or the 25 other takeovers that have occurred throughout supersessions, throughout state history, where attorneys general and county prosecutors have exercised the authority that we relied on to supersede the Paterson Police Department. It's about whether the supersession of the Paterson Police Department was lawful. And on that question, the court emphatically said 7-0 unanimous yes. And what you're referencing is, look, the legislature looked at what we did on March 27th, 2023, the state legislature and the governor. And their response was to enact multiple laws confirming that what we did was lawful and providing necessary resources to ensure that it can be successful. And I want to thank now Senator, Benji Wimberly, Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter, now Congresswoman Nellie Poe, who was then state senator, Governor Murphy, and many others who were extraordinarily supportive of this effort. Look, we never said supersessions or in any form state involvement should last forever. What we are saying, and what I will repeat today, is we are going to be here until the job is done. And we have made extraordinary progress together. And I will partner, I know I speak for everybody up here, with anyone, anywhere who wants to improve public safety of the residents of this city and of the state of New Jersey. And so I'm extraordinarily gratified that the court did say emphatically that what we did, again, was legal. And we will continue to work with the community to ensure that public safety is provided in a way that they can be proud of in this city. Look, that'll be a question for a new governor and if there's a new attorney general, but here's what I know. Crime is down, trust is up. When I came here on March 27th, 2023, standing where you are, or placed where you are standing right now, were barricades keeping people out of the police department. This was a situation that was as challenging as any in the entire country. And now some of the same people who are on the other side of those barricades are standing with us. Not to say things are perfect, that they can't get better, but as a demonstration of the progress that we have made. So I hope anybody who would come in here would look at what's been done. Look at a 65% reduction in gun violence, violent crime down, trust up, and say progress has been made. Let's keep that progress going. And yes, when the time is right, I agree. Return to local control should occur. We're not there yet. We have more work to do, but everybody agrees that is the long-term goal here. Yes. Look, police has a role to play. Police ensures public safety, but they also, as we know, law enforcement is, in this country and in this city, often the person you call when you're in trouble. And the strategic plan I mentioned, the initiatives that we've put in place, the resources, the partnerships that we've done with the community, it's been broader than just the narrowest view of what public safety is. Take the nightlife initiative that we've worked on, bringing all of the resources to bear to address challenges in our communities before they escalate into criminal activity. Now, this is the third largest city in the state. We can't and won't and are not responsible, frankly, for fixing everything. But we're going to do our part, and I am proud of the progress that we have made here, and I'm proud, extraordinarily proud, of the work we've done with the community to improve lives of the residents of this city. Look, I don't have a timeline today. Obviously, we are constantly evaluating where we are in partnership, in our progress. Like I said, we have a 55-point strategic plan. Want to see that get completed. That'll be a conversation for another day. We're not there yet, but I do hope that one day, in the not too distant future, we're having it. But let's be clear. 2.5 years ago is not that long in the grand scheme of things. We've seen in other areas takeovers take decades and not produce the kinds of results that you've seen here. You can go look across the country and see some consent decrees that never sniff the kinds of results that we've achieved in a short period of time. So progress is being made. Progress is, thanks to today's decision, going to continue to be made. And I assure you that we will evaluate everything on the ground as it develops. Well, one thing is I don't see barricades in front of the department. I see the people who are protesting standing with us. I see people saying to us, we told you this was broken. We told you we wanted change. We told you we wanted these things fixed. And then they saw it appear in a strategic plan. And then they saw it get executed. And then they saw the change happen. You know, I didn't tell anybody I was going to that community fun day last night. That wasn't announced. Hundreds of people didn't show up because we wanted to have a photo op. They showed up because the street was safe. They had trust that those officers had their back. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And the relationship between the community and law enforcement has changed. And by the way, that's good for the community. And I'll tell you who else it's good for. It's good for the men and women working in this building and in buildings like this across the city and doing the hard work to keep us safe. None of them signed up to be at odds with the community. They signed up to do the hard work necessary, dangerous, thankless work to keep the community safe. And I couldn't be prouder of them as well. And I saw a whole bunch of them out there last night partnering and working and playing and having a good time with members of the community. So how do you measure trust? We're going to keep doing the work to keep building that trust. But I certainly can tell you it's a heck of a lot better today than it was 2.5 years ago. Any other questions? With that, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank Chief Pat Murray. I want to thank Issa Abassi, who, by the way, both of them, 40-year veteran of this department, second generation, 26-year NYPD veteran who came across the river. Sometimes I think he forgets that New Jersey is where he works, but came across the river and spent 18 months in Paterson, is now leading a statewide office to ensure that the best practices, the great work that's being done here, can be lifted up across the state. And all of the men and women of the Paterson Police Department for their thankless service, and of course, to our community partners for the trust that they've placed in us. It is very easy to throw stones, and sometimes stones are appropriately thrown. It is harder to roll up your sleeves and say, we want to work for change. And that's what's happened here. And I thank each and every one of them for the trust and confidence they've placed. And I'm extraordinarily proud of the progress that we've made and that we will continue to make together. Thank you, guys.